Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Africam show, everyone. It is Tuesday, the 29th of July. It's 4 o'clock and we are here for the next 45 minutes or so. My name's Kelly. I'm going to be checking these cameras, seeing what's happening, seeing who is out and about in the bush today. Thank you all so much for joining. Let's see who we've got with us today. Remember, we are live and interactive. We love to hear from everyone that is watching or listening or participating in any way. Jack de Boer, good morning from, I can never say this properly without reading it. Chesapeake, Virginia. I always have to do that one phonetically. Hello, Jack de Boer. Good morning. Mr. HUAE87. Today you did has coffee and cake. Today I did have some coffee, no cake, but I did just have a little bit of chocolate. Don't tell anyone. Bridget McKinney, hello. Welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Animal lover, gorgeous colours. I agree. Some of the colours currently I'm seeing from where I am are absolutely breathtaking. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm really enjoying these winter colours this winter. Beautiful light on some of these pans. I believe we are here at Aldonio by the looks of the zebra and the pan. Even the zebra are looking very zebra-y today, if they can look zebra-y. They're looking very stripy. That's a strange thing to say, but anyone that's watched the show before might have some idea where I'm coming from. Montenegro, hi. Thank you very much for being here. You've got your black coffee to greet us all. Thank you very much for joining us. Your presence is hugely appreciated. MG Leopard Spots, good morning from CA. Thanks for being here, Kelly. Thanks for being here, MG Leopard Spots. It's an absolute pleasure. Montenegro, zebras sound like coyotes to me. I kind of know where you're coming from. They do make some very strange noises. I was actually just waiting for the show to start there, and there was some audio of zebra, and it was very strange. I think it was one of the cameras there actually. The location is making zebras echo, which it's making them sound even stranger. These zebras up here and at Aldonio, I can't say they're stripier. And they don't have those shadow stripes. It's a sort of geographical variation. They do start to develop those shadow stripes more as they move further sort of south. It is a gradual change in that coloration. That one second from the back has got very, very thick black stripes there. Zygote, hello, namaste to you too, Zygote. Thank you for being here. Lisa Hoffman, you can't believe you woke up early enough to watch live, coffee in hand. Put another spoonful of coffee in there, Lisa Hoffman. Thank you so much for making the effort to get up early. Massive shout out to you for your efforts. Hello, Karu. You've got milk. Thank you very much for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. I am sitting outside. So if anyone hears any non-regional birds that they wouldn't be expecting, they could be from my garden. Casper's third ghost, hello. You've got iced lemon tea ready for the ride. Thank you very much for joining us, Casper's third ghost. You are most welcome. I think this is one of the first times I've been to Aldonio for a while, and there's not an elephant here. How unusual, but let's head across to the hide. I think this is the first time I've seen nothing at that Aldonio pan for a very, very long time. looks like there's some baboons. I'm not sure if it was live earlier, but I did see a clip of some baboons that were being highly vocal. Not that sort of vocal. It was almost too enthusiastic to be an alarm call. We all know that classic wahoo sound that baboons make, but it was I assume it was live, but there was definitely some serious vocalizations going on, often a sign of a predator being present. Not always. These baboons do tend to use lots of vocalizations at the best of times. Actually, one of my favorite animals to watch, baboons. Jack de Boer, zebras have many predators: lions, African wild dogs, leopards, cheetahs, hyenas, and crocodiles. They do. They have a lot to contend with. One of their methods of defense is, of course, numbers. That coloration helps them to confuse predators a little bit, but yeah, they have a lot of turmoils to potentially face. Like, this is what I enjoy about baboons. Lots of people think that in baboon hierarchy, it's only subordinates that groom older animals, or lesser status animals grooming older animals, or higher status animals. But it's not. It's often reciprocal. Lots of animals will groom each other. It improves bonds. It improves family communications. Look at this little one here. Razm27, you're saying thank you for doing this show live. You so appreciate it. It's an absolute pleasure. How do you say that? Razm27, RASM27. Thank you very much for being here live. Teamwork makes the dream work and all that. It's one of my favorite parts of these shows, is hearing from everyone out there that is joining. Look at this one. See this. I enjoy watching this behavior. This one here on the left. What's that? What's that? Oh, it's a bit of stuff everywhere. Ooh. This is what all that noise must have been earlier. I've got no idea what is going on. It sounds like someone's in quite a lot of trouble. But the fact that especially that one on the left there is showing zero interest. Not, I was, I was just about to say, not my circus, not my monkeys. But it kind of is their circus and their monkeys. But often you hear inter-family squabbles going on with baboons. See that if that didn't look like a bouncer sitting outside a nightclub, sort of sitting, gave his nose a bit of a wipe there. But I just find that so human. Sort of, is he doing something with his mouth? Is he chewing something? My baboon's got something in his mouth. It almost looks like he's chewing on a seed or something. This is a nightclub bouncer called Steve. That's what it looks like to me. Sorry, no offense if there's any Steves out there. That's not what I meant. But that is such a human posture, or a human aura. Look, chewing his gum. Maybe he's got like a fruit or something in his mouth there, and he's sort of chewing, trying to get the flesh off, maybe. Huh. Very, very cool to see. Okay, let's go over to Menno Aquenia next. See who we have got happening. What is going on up there? I'm actually going to turn that down a little bit. That is extremely loud. And it reverberates. Sorry for that noise there. It reverberates around around that sort of canyon there. It's super, super loud. Minty Tillaba, I also love the way baboons sit, the way they sort of rest their sort of, they sit with their knees bent and their elbows resting on their knees. It's I find it fascinating. This is an excellent camera angle to get I really feel like this camera puts us in the action. Eye level with those huge numbers of zebras still moving through this Buteti area. Karu, yes, I think that's probably what was going on. You say, wow, someone's in trouble. Those baboons, it was, like I said earlier, it almost sounded too intense to be a alarm call for predators. And yeah, I think there was someone in big trouble there. Bridget McKinney, wow, yes. There are lots and lots of zebra here. Zygote, monkey business, Alfredo Leone. This, you're saying hard, this little crazies. Yeah, those baboons are very, very cool to watch. Look at these zebra. You can see who's been in the mud here. Look at this one in the middle of the screen. Almost like it's got black socks on. Zygote, you're saying fight less, shout more. That's possibly about right. And that is a good motto. And carries across many species in the animal kingdom. Fight less, shout more. You see that replicated frequently in the animal kingdom. Why would you want to risk injury when you can just have a good shout? Bridget McKinney, maybe that baboon did have some bubble gum, but that was a very human visual we had of that baboon there. I suppose the reason we're hearing so many vocalizations here is because it's just sheer numbers of zebras. Often you will find, I actually counted 12 zebra walk along the game path in front of my house the other day. 12 it's a big number for here. But all these zebras are congregated here as a result of water. And you put enough, it's like putting loads of people in the same place, I guess. Bigger numbers mean bigger noise. I do find it interesting though that this is zebras normally have a fairly strict, clear. There will be a stallion and his mares and his youngsters. But how animals are able to sort of go, okay, let's skip that for now, and tolerate one another's presence because they need those resources. We could probably take a leaf out of their book, actually. I would actually really like to see what's over that crest of that hill. The other day, how there's no sort of food by this water, but there's been huge numbers of footfall, many hooves passing through here. But I do always try and remember that, even when there's not green, lush grass, even domestic horses, we feed them hay. There's still nutrition in hay. So there'll still be some nutrition in grass, in dry grass. This one's getting all right in there. Mindy Tillapal. This camera is indeed great for watching zebra reactions. There's huge numbers pouring in. But it does look like I'm actually just watching the dynamics here, and it does look like they're sort of coming in and then leaving again up that bank. So maybe they are coming in sort of small herds or family groups or whatever you want to call it. Zygote, if anyone wants to learn zebra lingo, this is the place to be. Wow, how cool would that be if there was like an animal translator that you could flick to either zebra or elephant or horse or dog or lion. But maybe you only had, maybe if there was only one in existence and you could only swap species like 5 times and have 5 minutes on each species. Oh, how much pressure would that be? I think it's one of the reasons I'm so drawn to nature and wild spaces and animals is the element of interpretation, of not really knowing. In the world we live in today, we can get so much access to so many things at the click of a button. I think nature's role is to keep us humble as a species, I hope. Rasm 27, so many zebra. Indeed, it's so beautiful. It's a lovely scene to see. This is part of the migratory route through the Bateti River region. And I think there's something up to 30,000 zebra that pass through this route. And then they will gradually make their way back to the Maharihari pans to feed, depending on those seasonal changes. People often forget that migrations are cyclical. And almost always resource dependent. I think one of the animals I think of most, is despite the obvious zebra and wildebeest migrations, I think of salmon. The way I suppose actually, on reflection, no, that's not really a migration because they die, don't they? Okay, that's not even a migration. A movement, an incredible effort of animal movement. And it always fascinates me that there's not more arguments with all these vast numbers of bodies so tightly packed together. It's amazing that these animals they don't have a choice. They have to keep moving with those resources. I'm not actually sure of the kilometers of this migration, but I always remember reading about the migration of those Arctic terns. I can't remember, it's something like 70,000 kilometers of round trip. Those tiny little birds, those Arctic terns, they breed in the Arctic in the summer months. Then they migrate to the Antarctic for the southern summer, and they follow that loop around. It's absolutely insane, the trips that these animals make. Bridget McKinney, we need an animal psychic. I'd like an actual translating machine, like a science-based translating machine. You could play recordings through it. I would love that. Bridget McKinney, I think that's you asking, when will the migration be over? Migrations, it's sort of cyclical. And these, I believe these zebra will start leaving this area. Well, the rainy season will come to where they're going, maybe October. But it's cyclical, so that they will then go back to where they came from. So it'll be a constant loop. The migrations are a constant cycle of movement, basically. Normally following resources, breeding opportunities, food, and water. I think the time of year, or the stage in the year, can also have an impact on migration numbers, because whilst I'm not so much thinking about these zebra, or possibly, but it's down to resources. So if, for example, if these zebra were moving and there were still some pans left, they wouldn't all be congregated quite as much as they would be when all those pans along the route are dried up. And same goes for food resources. If animals are moving for food, there is sort of peak gathering times during most migrations, so it will place everything in one place at the same time. I didn't actually know about this migration until recently. I hadn't heard of it, and I think I read something about it's only been witnessed or revisited relatively recently due to a flooding incident. Something to do with the river was flooded, and it was only recorded again. It's been happening historically for a long time, but it was only recently recorded again or something. But I want to check before I say too much more. I'm just trying to check now. I'm sure I read something that it hadn't been recorded for some time, or hadn't been noticed for some time. Oh, let's go across. That's a good idea, actually. Let's go across to Aldonio. I think we've got some. Yes, these zebra are back again. It's so much quieter here. Mindy Tillipau, you're saying interesting how some animals stand in the water when they drink and others sit from the edge of the waterhole. I agree. I do find that interesting as well. And I don't know why. I would have thought sort of animals use whatever strategy works for them. That's how they survive. But I would have thought it would be more beneficial to animals got no idea what bird that is. To animals in general, for them not to stand in the water because it sludges up all the mud and silt and all the rest of it for everyone. So even if a zebra walks in there, even the one that's standing in there drinking, they're also going to be drinking more sludge and silt. There's one elephant I've noticed that almost always stands in the middle of this pan here. He's a young animal. Often the bigger bulls sort of circle him. And I've seen zebras sort of with their front feet in here as well. I don't know why it is, Mindy. I also think it's very interesting. Kari, Arctic terns have the longest migration route. You are correct. Yes, that is absolutely insane. And there's a butterfly. There's also a dragonfly with an insane migratory route. Is it a wandering glider dragonfly? But there's also butterflies. It's amazing that the butterflies is a multi-generational thing. I would assume it's probably the same for the dragonflies. But animal movement is yeah, it's incredible. I get lost in multi-story car parks sometimes. I'm trying to find the information I read a while ago about that zebra migration around the Buteti, because I was a bit confused at the time. So much quieter here. Let's go across to Serengeti Explorer. I think we've got some Waterbuck across there. I think if this is, I want to see this camera. Is that the same camera? We saw a Spider-Man agama. Was it a Spider-Man agama? I'm sure this was the same camera that we saw that on. Yeah, I think this. If there's a bit of concrete, if you zoom back a bit, I'm sure this is a. There was also some buffalo here the other day. I haven't seen this camera too many times, but it's actually a lovely camera here at Serengeti Explorer. Oh, look at these Waterbuck's bottoms. These are Defasa Waterbuck. You see there's no white ring, it's sort of more white trousers. Okay, this is what this is the information I read before that Buteti River. There's been a disruption of that migration due to drought conditions. So Bridget McKinney, you're asking, is this a river that flows all year? It depends, by the sounds of it. There's been sometimes in semi-recent years that it's actually been dry for a very long time. So 2009, the Buteti River flowed again and the zebra migration returned. That's the information I was trying to get to. But the river is still in trouble. But yeah, that's what I remember reading. After decades of drought, the zebra migration returned in 2009. Lovely to see these different, not different, they're not southern or ellipsan waterbuck. They're the waterbuck we're used to seeing in southern Africa, or certainly in South Africa. These Defasa waterbuck are found much further up into East Africa, and I've actually also seen them in Rwanda. I think we've got some eland that have joined the zebra at El Doño. We can pop back and have a look at some eland. Always spectacular to see those eland up close and drinking. Look at those horns. See, this light is starting to get beautiful now. It's actually very peaceful here. Those doves are coming in to drink. Often doves get very active this time of day. Lots of birds will come for their last drinks. Although doves are one of the only bird species that are often active when the day is very, very hot as well. They've actually got a special layer of feather that gives them better insulation than lots of other birds, so they can cope better with the heat. Mwanza, flat-headed rock agama, or Spider-Man. Spider-Man rock agama, that was amazing to see that the other day. I think that was at that Tanzania camera. Mwanza, thank you for reminding me. Jack de Boer, the waterbuck, Corvus ellipsiromanus, is a large antelope species found widely in sub-Saharan Africa. The genus Corbus, so that waterbuck that you've listed there, ellipsiromus, that's the ellipsum waterbuck. So they are the southern species, and then further north, I don't actually know the scientific name of the Tafasa waterbuck, but the Tafasa waterbuck is a different subspecies of the Corbus family and the family Bovidae. Thank you very much, Jack DePaul. Taxonomy is a minefield. I find it difficult to keep up with lots of taxonomy and the pace that it's moving at these days. And I actually learned the other day, someone actually told me when I was doing one of these shows that subspecies is determined by a number of chromosomes in an animal. I didn't know that. I knew subspecies classification was complex and something to do with DNA. And someone very kindly notified me that it was about chromosomal numbers that dictate or determine a subspecies. I've been spending a lot of time recently thinking about well, I always spend a lot of time thinking about all animal behavior, but this elephant, I've just watched him come into drink, and he's obviously just arrived, and he's actually made quite a good job of drinking. I've noticed elephants often spill quite a lot, and that's not an accident. These animals have to have very functional abilities to make things work, otherwise they don't survive. And I've been spending a lot of time recently pondering why elephants spit out so much water so regularly. See, he had a proper drink then, but I'd be interested to see if in 4 or 5 slurps time he's dribbling it. And again, my confusion has always come from Why bother picking it up if you're not gonna drink it? One of my theories was there was too much silt, like as he touched it, he could maybe feel it in his trunk or something. But then why put it all the way to your mouth? I'm not sure. Let's go back across to Menno. So I think we're going to go back to those zebra. If your volume is up, maybe just notch it down a little bit. Oh, it's all quiet now. Oh no, it's not. So while I've always or normally associated zebra vocalizations with alarm calls, this sort of disproves it a bit because these are very vocal zebra, making this fairly typical sound that zebras make. But there's no predators here, so maybe we, or maybe I, need to reconsider that very typical sort of braying is just another form of communication. That I hear zebras here. Not often, but they will make that noise. There's no predators in here. Maybe it could be or just a sign of heightened emotion. Jingle, oh no, you're out walking your dogs before it gets too hot and realize it's Tuesday. You'll have to watch on rewind. Go enjoy your dogs. I hope you have a lovely walk. I hope your dogs are doing lots of sniffing. And thank you for being a very responsible dog guardian and not taking your dogs out in the boiling heat of the day, because I hear lots of stories about people doing that and it makes me very angry. But anyway, that's a story for another day. See how tolerant these animals are of each other when they need to be. It's difficult to know what is shout and what is echo. I'm sure these zebra calls are reverberating off the edges of this riverbed. Okay, we've got some impalas back over there at Serengeti Explorer. I want to see that lizard again. That was my favorite thing I've seen for a long while on these cameras. I've never heard of one of those. Spider-Man agama or Spider-Man rock agama. If you don't believe me, have a look it up. It's a real thing and it really does look like Spider-Man. It sounds like there's an inlet somewhere here. It sounds like there's water coming in. And I feel like there's quite a lot of vegetation here compared to... I suddenly thought, was that a water inlet or that impala having a wee? Three impalas, that's an unusual number. You know, we often see them in bigger groups. It definitely sounds like there's a pipeline or a water coming in here. This is positively lush here compared to a lot of places at the moment. These very lucky impalas. Off they go into the near sunset. Let's go back to the hide. I think there might be some waterbuck there. Also come for an evening drink. Something's having a good splash. That sounded like an Egyptian goose maybe taking off. Some waterbuck coming in. That waterbuck looks a little bit skinny actually to me. Not often I've noticed waterbuck, look at maybe it's the way it's standing. They're so fluffy, they've got such long fur. Waterbuck hippo standoff. It is incredible that nature has set nature up in such a way that things can survive through the drier, leaner months. Waterbuck's having a look around gingerly. You see, and this is the ellipson waterbuck with that white ring. How cool that we've seen that. There's nowhere else on Earth that you'll be able to do that. To see two geographically separate species of waterbuck within 5 minutes of each other. That's pretty cool. Look very similar, behave very similarly. Similar family structures, similar feeding patterns, but actually a subspecies or a different species. Looks like these waterbuck are drinking in rotation. I think we might have an afternoon drinking giraffe back across at Aldonio. Let's head across there and see if we're going to see this giraffe drink before we have to wrap up the show. Jack de Boer, I don't think it is a rainbow agama. I was very confused by the whole scenario, and I had a look, and it is that one common name is so it's a flat. It's a. Let me check. I can't remember, but it was definitely Spider-Man. That's it. Mwanza flat-headed rock agama is the actual name, or the other colloquial name is the Spider-Man agama. Jack de Boer, go have a look. They are very cool. There's a rainbow skink that we get here, and confusingly, I've learned this. The females have blue on their tails, and the males have orange, just to keep it really confusing. Is there a giraffe migration? Not a specific one that I'm aware of. But they will also move in relation to food or water availability. There's no giraffe migration that springs to mind, but it wouldn't surprise me because I didn't know about the Pateti River zebra migration until very recently. So there could well be. But this is lovely seeing this girl in here having a nice afternoon drink. I'm sure this giraffe is delighted that there's currently no elephants present here. Such a strange design. I'm just going to let this girl finish drinking before I say goodbye because I don't want to disturb her. There we go. I'm sure this giraffe is absolutely delighted to be able to get a nice bit of peace and quiet while she's having a drink. As I'm 27, my name is Kelly. You're saying you did not catch my name. Hi, Bob. My name is Kelly. Thank you for joining us, Bob. But you have to go hissing. Thank you so much for what you've given us today in this narrative and show of the animals. I spend more time watching these cameras than you do anything else. Thank you again, and the best day to you. The best day to you too, Bob. Please keep watching. There are so many cameras to watch all the time. Keep your eyes peeled. You never know what you're going to miss or indeed see. Lisa Hoffman, you love giraffes. I love giraffes. Thank you all so much for being here today. It's an absolute pleasure. Keep your eyes on these cameras. We never know what is in store. All the best. Take care. And I will talk to you again soon, I hope. Bye-bye.